welcome to Brian's Got Game. I am Brian. Today, I've got a game called Kill the Overlord. Kill the Overlord is a 4 to 8 player take-that card game published by APE Games. Like the title says, in this game, players are trying to kill the Overlord. Each player has a character card and a handful of plot cards. At the start of the round, the Overlord gives the execution order to one of the players. Players try to pass it around to avoid being eliminated. If a player can't, they are eliminated from the round. The Overlord issues a new execution order and plays until the Overlord is executed. The remaining players go up in rank, and then a new round begins. If the Overlord manages to eliminate all the other players, they win the game. So, let's check it out. I'll show you how to sidestep the execution order, how to make an example of your friends, and most importantly, how to kill the Overlord. To set up, you get the character cards, the Overlord, the Peasant, the General, the Captain, and the Squire. You shuffle these. We're going to play with 5 players, so you take these ones and you shuffle them, and then you pass them out to each player randomly. So then they face it to point towards them. And then, of course, there are some extra ones that you can use later. So I'm going to do a 5-player game with these cards. Then you get the execution order card and give it to the Overlord. Each person, then you give each player 5 gold. And then, so on the first, originally, during the game, you would get money based on your rank, but at the beginning of the game, the first round, you don't. Then you get the rest of the money, and you put it into the stock, treasury, and then you put out the rectangular execution tokens based on the number of players, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you shuffle all the plot cards, and then you place them into the center of the table. You are now ready to begin. So, at the beginning of each round, each player draws up to 2 cards. Your normal hand size is 4, except for the Squire, whose hand size is 6 for that round. So, at the first round, each player gets draw 2 cards. And then the next thing you do is collect income, but you don't do that on the first round because everybody starts out with 5. And then you check to see if the Overlord has 30 gold, which he doesn't in the first round. So we'll go straight to the execution phase. So the Overlord gives the order to someone. So give it to the Captain. So now this player must play a card or use their ability to get rid of the card. So this player's ability is when you give a player the execution order, that player must immediately discard a plot card if able. So this player, that does nothing to help them get rid of it, so they must use a card. So they have Victimize and Sidestep. The Sidestep is give the execution order to the player 1 or 2 seats to your right, then draw a card. That one sounds pretty good. This one, Victimize. Give the execution order to the player 1 or 2 seats to your left, then that player discards 1 card if able, otherwise take 1 gold from that player. So we're going to play Victimize. So you play it, and then you give the execution order to 1 or 2, so we're going to put it 2. And then that player must discard a card, if able, otherwise take a gold from that player. So, now they get to discard 1. So, and the Captain's power is, when you give it to them, they discard a card. So instead, this player's going to play Retaliate. So this is a good card because it cancels the plot card played before. So this goes back, and then these are both discarded. Now they must use this card. Sidestep, give the execution order 1 or 2 seats to your right, then draw a card. So they're going to give it to the Overlord, because the whole point is to kill the Overlord. Then they draw a card. This is discarded. So now the Overlord has to discard a card, which is exactly the same in this case, and then they must play this card. So give the execution order to the player 2 seats to your right or left, then take 2 gold from the treasury. So they are going to give it to the left, to the General. 2. They're going to give it back to the Captain. Now, the Captain gets to play their card, Extortion. Give the execution order to any player, then take 1 gold from that player if possible. So they are going to give it to the Overlord to take the gold from them. So they take. So it is 4, but they did then take 2 gold from the treasury. So they originally had 6. Sorry, I forgot to do that, and then they take 1. Now that the Overlord cannot defend, power doesn't do anything, the Overlord is executed. So that ends the round. The Overlord is given the whenever you are killed, their character goes into the middle, and then the person who died gets the 1 token. Now, usually other players die first, and then they get them in order, and then finally they die. So the first thing that you do is you rank up from all the living characters. So the highest player gets to take the highest dead position. They take it and then put theirs into the middle, and then the next highest takes the next highest in the dead, and then everything ranks up. And then I noticed something every single time the Overlord dies, they always get the peasant. So something to think about there. Then the Overlord gets the execution order. Everybody gains income. Peasant gets 0. They get 3. Get 1. Get 4. And then get 6. Then everybody draws 2 cards. So what's 2, 2, 2, and 2. So now some people are at their maximum hand size, some people are not, depending on whether or not they played cards. Now we put the elimination token back. Check to see if the Overlord has 30 gold. If he does, then the game ends and the Overlord wins. If not, then he issues the execution order and you play another round. So let's take a look at some of the plot cards. So in plot deck, we've got Victimize, which we already looked at. Make an example. I use this one in my introductory. So give the execution order to a player with a lower rank than you. If you are the lowest rank, give it to any other player. Then take 1 gold from the treasury. So you give it to someone lower than you, and then you get a gold. Coercion. Give the execution order to the player 1 seat to your right or left. Then give 1 card, or you take 2 gold from the treasury. Their choice. They get to choose. So there's a bunch of different random cards with different abilities that let you do things. So, and then now I'll talk about some more powers. So Peasant, you may give 1 gold to the player 1 seat to your right or left to give them the execution order without using a card. So it's really hard to kill the Peasant. So you have to do that to win as the Overlord or get 30 gold. So normally you get 30 gold first, but sometimes you can kill everybody. The Captain, we already talked about them. You can give them the execution order and they discard it. So the Squire, the maximum hand size is upgraded. And I forgot about this. The Squire gets to draw a card. Each execution gets passed out. So I forgot about that. So they get to draw another card. But since they can't, their hand size is increased, so actually they can. And then last time, someone else would have had that. Now, when you play a shield plot card to give another player the execution order, that player must give the execution order to any other player. So different powers, and then of course Overlord, you get to choose the execution order at the start of each round. So a bunch of different cool powers. Play continues until either the Overlord has 30 gold, in that case they win, or the Overlord kills every other player during a round, or they take out each other. Basically the Overlord is the last one standing. In that case the Overlord also wins. That's how you play Kill the Overlord. Okay, now my dad here for parents' opinions. Zach, what do you think of Kill the Overlord?
I had a blast playing Kill the Overlord. It has kind of a party theme to it. It plays all the way up to 8, which there's not many games that play up to 8. It kind of felt like a little bit of the Great Dalmuti, how you're trying to start as the peasant or scum, and then move all the way up to be the king or the Great Dalmuti. So that was kind of fun. And yeah, it plays up to 8.
Yeah.
So if you have a party, the minimum is 4. Otherwise, it's not really fun. It's not really fun to play with less than that. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah. So components. I'm going to skip the box. So the cards, the character cards are nice. They're bigger than normal cards, and then the plot cards, of course, are normal cards. And then they have different character powers, which are cool.
Yeah, it has variable player powers, which is neat, and those change every round based on how you're ranking up.
And then, all right, I'll go back. The box. The box is weird.
Yeah, it's a square.
It's a square on top, and then it's like a rectangle on the side. So it's a tall square box.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess if you took two small games and put them side by side, it would be the same size as that.
Or collect. Or you can put them next to the yellow mini games.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you put it next to your small games. It's like having
two
two side by side. But yeah, it is kind of a goofy box. But I don't know. Maybe that's the one we got. I thought I saw online that there was a flat one. It was kind of the longer box.
Like the Genius games.
Yeah, like some of the Kickstarters now that are coming out with kind of a long box.
Mm-hmm. So the artwork. If you like manga or
anime
style artwork, this is a game with that's all the artwork is.
Yeah, each of the characters kind of have big heads. And it's kind of cool. There's
Here, right now we should like make my head bigger. Like during the video.
There's like the boy character on one side and the girl on the other side. So that's kind of neat. Mm-hmm. You can choose. But yeah, I'm not really into the anime or the manga theme. So if this had a different theme, I would go buy it. It's great. Mm-hmm. I don't know how. It's kind of like they're dressed up because you're like a general or a captain or the overlord or the peasant. I don't know, and then it looks kind of like an anime person dressed up in a costume.
So strategy. At the beginning of each round, the overlord gives out the execution order to someone, preferably someone they don't like.
Yeah, the rules were kind of hard to understand too. Mm-hmm. But once you played it a couple times, it was really easy to. Yeah, I don't know if it just needed to be written a little bit better, or if it's just one of those things that's hard to explain. I don't know.
Yeah. So they give out the execution order, and then I thought it was a lot like Bang, like you're shooting other players, and then they have to play cards to evade or shield or whatever the cards were. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's another game that is a party style game.
Yeah, so it's like a mix of
plays up
Great
to 8.
Dumb Moody and Bang.
Yeah, the Great Bang Moody. Because you're trying to get to the top, but you're also trying to kill each other. Mm-hmm. It's not hidden though. There's no hidden things, kind of like Bang. But yeah, if those two games had a baby, it would be Kill the Overlord.
So they're passing the cards around like Bang. So easy for kids, like it's middle school, high school age.
Yeah, I don't think a grade school kid would get the strategy part, and it's kind of a gruesome theme. I mean, there's chopping off heads and whatnot,
but there's no
blood or anything.
Yeah.
And the anime, kind of makes it light.
I mean, the art is darker. I mean, it's like.
Well, it's a little bit. I mean, it's a little bit light because they have big heads, which are good for cutting off.
Panda head.
And they're in costumes. So, but yeah, the strategy part where you're trying, because sometimes you might want to, if you have good cards, you might, like one of them was plead guilty, so that brings the execution order to you.
Some of the cards are harder to use.
Yeah, and so sometimes you might want to take it and then die and then move up, and then other times if you have the right card combination, then you could get more money and you can win. So there's a lot going on. I don't think I would play it even with kind of maybe 7th or 8th grade and up would probably be able to get this.
Yes. So overall, it's a great game. Good components, good artwork, there's strategy, and it plays well with kids.
Yep, the older ones. Yeah.
Old kids.
Yeah. So if you like the anime or the manga artwork, go check this one out. It's a lot of fun. Kill the Overlord by
APE Games.
Yep.
Thank you for watching Brian's Got Game. Please like us on our Facebook page. Send us a tweet at Brian's Got Game. Visit our webpage, briansgotgame.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Brian's dad. See you next time.